Welcome to the place where we learn about and learn from the leaders in our field who are powering creativity. I'm Aaron Dworkin, and this is Arts Engines. Just a heads up, everyone, that my new book, Entangleism, The Small Science and Big Art of Loving Your Life, is out and available on Amazon and everywhere books are sold. I encourage you to check it out. Thanks again for joining me here on Arts Engines. Today's guest is John Richmond, who serves as the Dean of the College of Music of the University of North Texas. John, welcome to the show.
It's an honor to be here, Aaron. It's great. Wonderful to see you again.
Yes, absolutely. So excited to have you with us for this particular episode, and just have been an extraordinary partner, one of our wonderful creative partners. And also so many different ideas that I feel I'm able to glean from you and your leadership that impacts all of the different things that I'm involved in, and especially, of course, in the academic landscape. And I thought we'd kind of actually start right there. And a lot of times people look at, the leadership, right, of any institution, academic or otherwise, and they're kind of like, why are all of these things happening around us, or how do decisions get made, and all of that. And so I thought it'd be great to kind of get from you kind of this sense of what drives some of that strategy in your leadership. And specifically, I'm thinking about, as you think about student success and how you structure things, and or you think about future proofing of music programs, things like that. And so just wondering if you could kind of start with even that 30,000 foot level of leadership and how you are thinking and leading.
Well, I was at a CMS meeting in June of 2016, and they had this speaker on. His name was Aaron Dworkin, and he had an address in which he was talking about these very topics. And one of the things that he mentioned at that time, and my announcement to the appointment as dean had happened days before I arrived at this conference, you may recall. But you stood up and you said, all of us need to be guided by a North Star. And that one word, North Star, is relevance. And I just love that. And I've carried that with me to this day, Aaron. And it has served me so very well. And that doesn't mean privileging one genre over another, one century over another, one musical practice over another. And then lo and behold, I find myself at the University of North Texas, which is this massive, capacious place, which has such a storied history of more than 130 years. And consequential music achievements across classical music and jazz and composition and electronic music, all the things that you'd expect at a place like this. But then unusual things too, not only the study of the world's musics, but the performance of them and the recording of them and the curating of guest artists in that space and a variety of other things. All this to say, all of it in the service of our mission, which I think you know very well.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so thinking about that, and of course, loving and feeling so much resonance with relevance, yeah. And thinking about that, because potentially some institutions, I think, might kind of struggle with, so what does it mean for us to be relevant, et cetera? And thought we delve into that a little, and specifically wondering if you could speak to kind of aspects of AI. I was able to have David Stout on the show, and also just using technology for virtual lessons, et cetera, those types of things. So curious your thoughts maybe in those two areas.
Well, you'll know that we've been doing a lot of work in the very spaces you recite, but I'm going to start with our mission and our vision statements. These two statements are short, you'll be relieved to know, given the amount of time we have, but they're, I think, poignant too. The mission of the College of Music is to serve our diverse musical culture with excellence, integrity, and imagination. And the vision of the College of Music is to provide leadership, artistry, and expertise to every facet of the music profession. These two organizing principles guide our work, guide our decisions, inform, and in fact, tee up our conversations across all of these things. So whether it be learning from that horrible pandemic that there are still ways to reach audiences, and today we reach them ever more robustly, both to serve them through virtual private lessons with a contract we have with the Dallas Independent School District, or whether it be moving aggressively to ultra HD webcasting of our concerts and recitals and performances, more than 700 that we webcast for free to the world and reach vastly more audience than we ever did before, or whether we are curating a new commercial music program, whatever it is, we're still also doing symphony orchestra and early music and choral music. We have the original degree granting program in jazz in the world. So we are doing the things we have done historically and concurrently believing it's possible for also to do these other things. But what are the guiding principles? Excellence, integrity, and imagination. So we can't be a dilettante. If we're going to do these things, we have to recruit the experts that can guide the process to make sure that we are doing this deeply and to a world-class standard.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so delving into that a little bit, right? Because what you've described is, right, of course, awesome and very, very relevant at incorporating these new technologies and all these types of things while also not abandoning the tradition and the traditional. And so wondering, because many people watch the show are leading in their respective areas, departments or institutions, et cetera. And right, the devil is always in the details. And,
sure it is.
And so I'm curious.
Sometimes they think the devil is in the dean's office, but do go on.
Right. Absolutely. And so right, there must be times when either there's competitiveness at the least or negativity at the greatest, kind of at some where some people feel those things are polar opposites, the new, the innovative, the relevant versus the traditional. And just curious, are there any ideas or methods or approaches that you have as a leader that others could, as they look at and are trying to manage what are sometimes disparate priorities or interests of their own community?
I'll give two examples in the interest of time. The first one is we had a set of retreats, meetings in my first year here, where we gathered and we listened to thought leaders from around the country. Stanley McChrystal says, listen, learn, then lead. And so we did some of that. And when we did, we learned that there were some things we always had wanted to do as a college, but hadn't gotten around to yet. So in conversation then with upper administration, we said, why don't we recruit some faculty not to deliver degree programs, not to curate some full-blown program, but simply to offer some instruction in areas we know our students want to learn, our current students, not in the spirit of, oh, this is going to be a recruiting juggernaut and it's going to be completely right side up financially, but these are investments that will pay off in the long haul. So we did that. We brought some faculty on board in commercial music, music for media, and a jazz violinist who's also a commercial violinist and performs with all the top 40 artists. And we did the same thing in terms of pivoting in our AI work. We had a faculty research team who was working in virtual and augmented reality, and they pivoted their attention to AI, and we resourced that with some gear. Really was a kind of a comparatively light investment that had a nice shelf life to it. And we began to do some of that work. Then over time, as the courses succeed, as other artists are brought in interested in what we're doing, suddenly we're in a position to put the faculty in a room and say, if we were to offer a curriculum, what would it look like? And let me give you a hint, do it as an undergraduate program. Let me give you another hint, make it a Bachelor of Arts degree, not a Bachelor of Music degree, which it gives a lot more elasticity to the curricular design. And I said, get back to me by Thanksgiving. And they got back to me by November 1st, and they did not follow instructions, I'm here to tell you, because I told them to give me a degree plan, and they gave me four, Aaron, four degree plans, and that they all wanted to launch concurrently.
Wow.
They flew through the review process on the campus. They flew through the Commission on Accreditation from NASM, and today they are among the most sought after curricula that we have, either as a major or as a co-curriculum for students who are doing things that are more traditional.
Wow. So that's extraordinary, right? And I love how you did that in terms of just mapping out how you get things done from a leadership position. Because it's, to me, so ideal to have both the vision of being relevant and having this connectivity, but then also how does that get executed? And executed with, faculty where and I love what you also shared, where there was, if anything, over ownership. In other words, that the sense of ownership on the part of the faculty was complete and driving these innovations and these evolutions of the institution. And that's an ideal environment, I think, to be in.
It wasn't just the faculty. So our donors started to become interested in what it is that we were doing and saying, oh, well, this means that a broader cross-section of music students will come out of the college with a broader cross-section of professional opportunities. I want to invest in that. And on the day that the Board of Regents approved this curriculum, we announced a $1 million Excellence Fund endowment to support this work. Well, Aaron, you've been around the block enough times to know that what that means is, well, first of all, there's a lot of momentum, but now there is less anxiety from those on our faculty who are, if you will, traditionalists or in the other spaces we have done for a longer period of time, because now there's not a competition for resources.
Oh, absolutely. Well, this is so brilliant. And unfortunately, we are just about out of time. But I always like to ask of all my guests, this work, right? Obviously, so exciting. You can see that, and you can see the passion that you have for this work and all of these wonderful relationships. But there has to be some tough days, or days where the $1 million investment fund, right, doesn't materialize, or there's challenges in any number of facets. And just wondering, from a leadership perspective, do you have ideal mechanisms or approaches that you have that bring you through those times?
Well, I will quote the famous philosopher George Clooney, who has taught us that you only learn when you fail. Success is less of an engine, to use your term of art, sir, of learning than failing. Having those headwinds, having that hiccup, having that problem, have that, God forbid, major challenge or world pandemic or whatever it is. But we pride ourselves at UNT on being resilient. That is a descriptor that is a cross-campus ethos of this place. And so we lead into resilience, and we affirm an obligation to resilience. And so it is that understanding that our mission matters, that we're here for a reason, that we have students and other stakeholders who are relying on us to show up for them every day. And so we do.
John Richmond, you truly are one of the arts engines who is powering human creativity in our world. Thank you so much for everything you do, and thank you for being on the show.
It's an honor, Aaron. It's an honor. Thank you.
Just a heads up, everyone, that my new book, Entangleism, The Small Science and Big Art of Loving Your Life, is out and available on Amazon and everywhere books are sold. I encourage you to check it out.